If you live on planet Earth, this is going to be a very important video for you to understand. This is the volatility index. This gauges how risky the economy is and how much of a potential there is for collapse. It's up 122% in the last day and a half. It's above levels we haven't seen since COVID. Right here, this is 2020 when we found out COVID was happening and the economy was going to be just completely shut down. Now it just spiked to 52. This is a massive indicator. This tells the world that we are on the brink of a collapse and the global economies are crashing right now. Japan's stock market's down 12%. Europe's is down massively. The futures market for the United States is down massively. And we go even further with this. This is the chart going back about 20 years. If you look, this was COVID. This is where we are today. This was the 2008 financial collapse. This was the housing market crash, that one that everybody talks about how horrible, the worst ever. It wasn't even that which was COVID and was right now. That tells you the brink of what's about to happen. Do you remember COVID? This is right up there above the COVID, but below the financial collapse of 2008. This was the tech bubble. This indicated all of these major things. So buckle up. It's about to get a little wild here in the United States and across the globe.
Some people follow me for my economic insight, so that's what this is about. But it does affect every American, and it's very important kitchen table, bread and butter issues, what's happening. And even if you don't have stocks, you got to understand what's happening in the government with inflation, with interest rates. It's going to affect you and your family, even if you're living on Social Security, because Social Security isn't keeping up with inflation. So, the big shots that rule this country, they care about where the markets go. And the stock market has rolled over again. It looks like it will test the earlier low. And if that breaks, it will go down much further. There's a remote chance for a higher high, but it looks increasingly unlikely. The data on consumer credit came out. People are spending more on their credit cards, which is a bad sign. It's a warning sign. It means that people have used all their savings and now they have to dip into credit. And when that runs out, then there's going to be real struggle. It's a bear market, like I've been saying. People get caught up in the sharp rally. It's all over, and I'm the dummy because I said stocks were going to go down. And, well, now they've dropped, a few thousand points off the Dow in a couple days. So what's going to happen exactly, I can't predict. All right, we're in big, big trouble. It's possible if they juice the market somehow and they decide they want 15% inflation, the market will go up like it did in Germany when they had that terrible inflation in the 1930s that led to Hitler and World War II. These people, the central bank has perpetrated this act. They are a bunch of idiots. They're all in collusion all over the Western world. That's why it's happening in Australia and England and everywhere else. The thing is, we complain now, we don't even know what a real depression is like. This isn't going to be a recession. This isn't where your neighbor loses their job. It's where you're going to lose your job. It's not where someone doesn't have food to eat. It's where you may not have food to eat. And it's going to go on for a long time. This is the beginning. The beginning. Right? Part of the reason I do this is so people will protect themselves. Take your life into your own hands. Grow your own food if you can. Stockpile some savings of dry goods. If you're poor, just put a little something away, even in food, a few silver coins, have a gun and a fishing rod. If you're rich, there's plenty of good advice for you to get. Depends what you do. Bye.
I was so worried about our financial future, but our country, they have a plan. I was worried they didn't have a plan. Y'all gotta hear what the top economic advisor in this country had to say about our finances. You can trust that he has it covered. Listen into this. You guys you're gonna feel so much better after you hear this.
The government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Since they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about.
Don't you guys just feel better already? Don't you feel like we're definitely going to make it out of this? There's definitely an economic plan. They got this figured out. We got nothing to worry about, y'all.
Just really feeling the need to share this information again, because another very interesting detail that has come to light is that Canadian household debt has now reached an amount that is actually in excess of Canada's entire GDP. Just let me say that again. Canada's household debt, as in the amount of money that households collectively owe, is more than the entire value of Canada's economy. Okay? The whole thing. What is going on? How do you have this and you have that as well? But if we're just going along with the idea that Canada as a country has an economy that has a certain value, which you can go look up, and the amount of money owed by the people in that country is more than the value of the whole economy, where do you think that goes? If you're not aware, if you're really just clueless about it, you probably want to look up what the conditions were right before the 2008 crash.
But habitable zones on Earth will cease to exist even earlier. By 2028 and 2030, just 5 to 7 years from now, the global economy will collapse as it will not be able to withstand the losses from catastrophes. Chaos, massive migration, hunger, and devastation will ensue, making life unbearable. And in 10 years, all of humanity will perish.
Is this movie predicting the end of the world in 2025? If you haven't known by now, when you pay close attention to mass media, you might just find clues as to what the elites of the world are planning. And the movie Leave the World Behind might just be the most recent example of it. Well, you'll see. The movie actually predicts a massive Wi-Fi blackout around the world, and the aftermath that happens just before the world ends. Interestingly enough, the timing for the movie cannot be more apt, as it's predicted that in 2025, a solar storm is going to happen, which will result in a Wi-Fi blackout. Could this movie be warning about the future, or...
Predictions of The Simpsons for 2025 strike a chilling note. An episode from 1998 subtly alludes to a year marked by an economic collapse, a nuclear conflict, and the death of a U.S. leader. Titled Bart to the Future, the episode offers a visionary glimpse into a future. Lisa Simpson holds the presidency of the United States. During a strategic meeting, President Lisa Simpson references the dire state of the nation's finances left by the preceding administration under President Biden, which is happening now. Further into the episode, a distressing news broadcast announces a nuclear encounter with an unnamed country, resulting in extensive devastation and turmoil. While the prospect of a nuclear war coupled with economic strife is deeply alarming, one hopes these predictions remain within the realm of fiction. Nonetheless, the series' historical accuracy in forecasting significant events raises questions about other possible future predictions. Intriguingly, one of the latest episodes contains a prediction even more foreboding than any previous ones. Are you intrigued to discover more in a possible follow-up?
10 biggest restaurant chains that are collapsing going into 2025, Part 2. 5. The Cheesecake Factory. This popular dining chain is grappling with rising costs that steer people away, ultimately leading to the closure of 38 branches since its inception. 4. Buffalo Wild Wings. The chain is struggling with a chicken shortage, underperformance, and rising labor and food costs, resulting in the closure of 60 locations just in 2024. 3. Pizza Hut. Once America's favorite pizza chain, Pizza Hut has shifted towards a takeout model and has closed 450 branches permanently, reflecting economic challenges. 2. Taco Bell. Customer dissatisfaction over recent price hikes and higher app prices. Taco Bell has even announced they are cutting breakfast from their menus due to high cost and not enough sales. 1. Chipotle. Despite its popularity among young consumers, Chipotle is facing financial struggles, ultimately leading to the closure of 65 locations, with more expected in 2025.
All right. I've had a lot of people ask me what's going to happen to my federally held student loans. So without a U.S. Department of Education at the federal level, your loans have to go somewhere else. They're planning to ship it out to third-party vendors. They're going to sell your loans. So good luck. They're also going to get rid of debt cancellation. You cannot cancel any of your debt whatsoever if it's related to federal student loans. That no option for it. In fact, they're also going to eliminate time-based relief. So if you've been paying a certain number of years, you still just have to pay it. It doesn't matter how much you've paid. And occupation-based relief goes away. So no more teacher loan forgiveness, no more forgiveness for people in the Peace Corps, nothing like that. No public service loan forgiveness. That's gone. And we already know that it was super hard to qualify for that because all of that crap was so bogged down with bad paperwork and not enough staffing. And so like very few people were approved until the last maybe year or two. But that's gone. That's gone. So they're also going to lower the income threshold for people who need to make minimum payments. So right now, if you're a single person, if your income is less than $34,000 a year, then you don't have to make a minimum monthly payment because you can't afford it. They're going to decrease that income threshold to $15,000. So if you make more than $15,000, you can expect to be repaying your student loans. And the monthly payments are going to go up. Somebody with a graduate degree, like a master's degree, can expect to pay $2,685 more per year in their monthly payments. Minimum. And if you're somebody who has a lower minimum payment for the month, let's say you're paying $96 a month, maybe you have a bachelor's degree, maybe you started college but didn't finish, your payments are going to triple, minimum. Or more. $96, you're looking at maybe $412 a month. Yep. And you are going to get damage to your credit score. It's going to be reported immediately. Like right now, if you don't pay, they'll put your loan into a deferment or a forbearance. They'll do whatever they can to not have to report it as a defaulted loan because then it makes the loan system look bad. But no, now they're just going to report it to your credit reporting agencies. So your credit's going to be shot, even though you can't afford it. And as you're paying this down, your balance is going to be ballooning because you're going to have out of control runaway interest rates, no more fixed rates. So somebody who graduated in 2024 with maybe $70,000 in debt, let's say they're on an income-based repayment plan because they're a teacher and they're making maybe $50,000, $55,000, which is generous. You're not making the minimum payment to cover the interest charges per month. So you're actually going to end up paying $150,000 on that $70,000 student loan debt. Minimum, $150,000. And income-driven repayment plans, severely restricted. So if you are making, let's say, $50,000 a year and under the SAVE plan or the IDR, you're paying $150 a month, you can expect to pay $400, $500, $600 a month. So, yeah, and no debt cancellation at all. So, good times.
Hi everybody, I'm Gray Owl. I'm gardening right now. It's time for me to be outside. But I just got a message that I wanted to extend to the collective. So my spirit guides told me exactly, Monica, there's going to be massive layoffs. And that's how you're going to know how things are going to get bad in 2025. there's going to be massive layoffs, and these massive layoffs, from what I was shown in visions, is going to affect the whole U.S. Our economy will bend, and that's the word they described it, bend, not break, but almost, but change it. And I keep on hearing exchange. I don't know if that's like Wall Street talk or brokerage talk, but it feels like it. But changing Wall Street, maybe that's what is going to happen, but because of this, it's going to have massive layoffs. So if you really want to know how things are going to start in 2025, that's how it's going to start, from what I'm being told.
It's amazing that I'm getting any work done today at all. I have to stop again because I cannot believe the ignorance of people. Some people. I had this person following me. I don't know how long she was following me. Her name is irrelevant. That's why I'm going to read it to you rather than have people searching for it, although I just blocked her, so the comment's gone anyway, but I don't want to take any chances. On the video that I explained why I am reading 2025, which I think I might have 2 of those videos. Could be 3. I'm losing count of all of this right now. But one of my former mutuals wrote this on one of the videos when I said, I'm not doing this, that, or the other thing. I'm trying to educate people or give people an opportunity to learn about the functions of our government. Have I said that several times? This isn't about Donald Trump. This isn't about Joe Biden. It's not about Kamala Harris. It's not about George Bush. It's not about Ronald Reagan. This is about our government, period. That's it. So this is what I get. On that video, she writes, I understand your intentions, but your basic premise is incorrect. If you want to know what Trump is actually going to do, read his website and listen to the speeches he has given the last 2 days. And listen to what Elon and Bobby have said. Hold them to that word. Heritage has tried to push these for 30 years and there's no mandate to follow it. Trump even said he wouldn't. So, by doing this, you're actually reinforcing propaganda. I responded, at no time did I say Trump was going to do anything presented in this document. My intention is to educate people in the workings of our government. So she read that and then unfollowed me. Why? Because she's wrong. Like, what is going on? What is the problem here? She clearly was not watching the video. All she knows is I'm reading Project 2025 and then ran with that. And that's on her. And I'm really glad she's gone, because if you're going to put words in my mouth, if you're going to be commenting 4 times telling me that I'm spreading propaganda, I'm not spreading propaganda. I am not fear-mongering. I am not accusing Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or any other president, vice president, member of the board, member of the cabinet, member of Congress, the Senate, the House. None of it. I'm not discussing politics. I am sharing a document that does give a perfect, accurate description of what our government does, how it's structured, and why that is bad. Now, don't get me wrong, because now someone else is going to feed words into my mouth. I am not in support of Project 2025. I will tell you that. I am not in support of 2025. It's extremism. I do believe there are parts of it related to our government and suggestions that would shrink our government down quite a bit, the way that it used to be, so that there's accountability. We don't need, I don't know how many people are in government, but we don't need 20,000. This is what you deal with when you make content on a regular basis, especially if you step into an area like this. And it's one of the reasons why I usually don't do it. It's not that I'm not educated. I'm definitely not a political genius, but I do know government. Like, I get it. I mean, I went to school, I learned, I read books, I see. But this is really like, this is the government. And that's the part that I want everybody to have an opportunity to learn about. Yes, it's important to know the whole document. It's important to know there are extremists out there who think this way. And where she was wrong was it did get looked at by Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan did in fact do some of what the document said. So she's not in the know in that. And I'm only sharing that with you because I've read it and I know. And I fact-checked. I did all that stuff. I wasn't just going to come on here and read this tremendous document and it was all BS. It's not. So, thank you again to those of you who are continuing to work with me on this. Thank you to those of you who wish to learn. Thank you for those of you who are not accusing me or saying that I'm trying to do something that I'm not trying to do. If you don't watch the whole video, you're not getting the whole story, and then you're the one who's spreading false information. I did nothing wrong with this person, but this is the type of thing that goes on TikTok on a semi-regular basis, and it's like, just go away. Just go away. Anyway, I hope you're all having an awesome day. I'm going to take a run to the post office, get some fresh air, and then come back and get some work done, and maybe do some more reading, because it seems that the majority wants me to continue reading Project 2025 on TikTok. So if it costs me a few thousand followers, they're not meant to be here. They're not in for the long haul. They're not my people, and that's okay. I really do hope you're having a great day.
2025, 85 million worldwide jobs will be eliminated.
Yeah.
2025, hello, that's in 2 more months. What are people doing to get ready for that? Because they are all thinking, it's not going to happen to me, but it is happening to everybody. I hear
everyone I talk to, and everyone I talk to is nobody's hiring, nobody's paying. And by the way, they are for $45,000 a year.
I was gonna say, even if they are, they're not paying us. Not what I'm not working for $45,000 a year. What is that?
I haven't made that since I was 18 years old.
What is that going to do for me? No way. It's not going to work. So here's.
Okay, so when Elon Musk said the first 100 days are going to be hard, and Project 2025 is about what they're going to implement in the first 100 days, this is what we will likely be observing from an economy standpoint. So if Donald Trump does these 3 things that he's promised, mass deportation, increasing tariffs, and then implementing the Project 2025 tax code, which increases taxes for the lower and middle class, here's what's going to happen. The Trump supporters who own businesses, and there are probably millions of them, they are going to be impacted in ways they never saw coming. And we're going to be here for it. See, we're going to talk about how everybody's wallets are going to shrink. And let's focus on I'm going to call it the middle class, the class that has a disposable income. A disposable income where they can go golfing, they can go to the movies a lot, they can go out to eat a lot, they can go on trips and stay at hotels, they can go to a car dealership and purchase a car, they can hire a contractor to put on an addition or even build a new house. That disposable income is going to shrink. And let's just say it's just over the first 100 days, which is not the case. Their sales are going to plummet. Their sales are going to plummet. And then what's going to happen is they're going to have to let people go. Okay? And a lot of those employees that were looking to Trump to make things better for them, who voted for them. Hotel workers, restaurant workers, employees of subcontractors, you name it. Just wait till that happens. Now, we're not even talking about the impact on our budget by deportation and losing close to $100 billion that people here, undocumented, contribute, paying taxes. We're not even talking about that. And we're not even talking about the farmers who are not going to be able to find any help. We're not even talking about that impact. We're just talking about the short-term impact of that disposable income shrinking, and how all these business owners who voted for Trump are going to be hit really hard. And there's no magic that's going to happen on the other side of these 100 days. This is what economists are talking about. There is no initial hardship for much more beautiful, prosperous days after that. That doesn't exist. So we got that to contend with too. It's going to be interesting.